The lift was still moving when I first realized someone was riding it alone. I remember the exact second because the wind dropped without warning, like the mountain itself had gone quiet to listen. The chair crested the top tower, cable humming low and steady, and in the glow of the floodlights I saw a single silhouette where there should have been none. No skis dangling, no board. Just a person sitting perfectly upright, hands folded in their lap, facing downhill. I was the midnight operator that season. Graveyard shift. Last man awake on a mountain that wanted to forget people existed. My job was simple on paper. Keep the lift running for emergency crews, log weather changes, shut everything down at 2 o'clock am sharp. There was one rule drilled into me on my first night. If someone gets on alone at the top, don't let them ride down. They didn't explain why. They never do. That night the temperature hovered at -14. Cold enough that metal screamed when it shifted, cold enough that your breath felt sharp going in. The control shack smelled like burnt coffee and old oil, and the radio crackled with half-heard conversations from patrol down the mountain. I leaned forward in my chair, eyes locked on the security monitor. Chair 47. Occupied. That wasn't possible. The summit gate had been locked since 9 o'clock p.m. Patrol had checked it. I'd watched them do it through binoculars, laughing, stomping snow from their boots, eager to get off the mountain. No night skiing. No guests. No exceptions. I keyed the radio. Base, this is lift ops. Do you have eyes on the summit? Static. Then Patrol answered, voice distorted. Negative, summit's clear, why? There's someone on the line, I said, coming down. Silence followed, not the crackly kind, the heavy kind. The kind that makes you aware of your own breathing. Describe them, Patrol finally said. I leaned closer to the screen. The figure passed under another light. Their jacket was dark, unreflective. No helmet, no goggles. Their face was turned slightly toward the trees like they were listening to something I couldn't hear. They're not wearing gear, I said. No skis. Another pause. You need to stop the lift, Patrol said. Now. My hand hovered over the emergency brake. If I hit it, the chair would stop midline, 30 feet above the ground. In this cold, that could kill a normal person in minutes. The rule echoed in my head, suddenly louder than the machinery. Don't let them ride down. Who is it? I asked. Patrol didn't answer. The chair rolled past Tower 3, closer now. I noticed something else then. The seat wasn't swaying, not even a little. No nervous movement, no shifting weight. The figure sat perfectly still like they'd been bolted to the chair. Base, I said, forcing calm into my voice. I need confirmation. Is anyone missing? Static surged, then cleared. No one's missing, Patrol said. And you need to listen very carefully. That chair can't reach the bottom. My throat went dry. What happens if it does? The radio clicked off. The chair entered the clearing below the shack. I stood, heart pounding, and looked out the window instead of at the screen. Moonlight washed the slope in pale blue. Snow drifted like ash. Chair 47 slid into view, cable humming, metal groaning softly under the cold. Up close, I could see them clearly. It was a man. Late 30s, maybe. His skin had a grayish cast, like he'd been out there too long. His eyes were open, unblinking, fixed straight ahead. Frost clung to his eyelashes, but his breath didn't fog. I slammed my hand onto the brake. The lift screamed and shuddered, then locked in place. Chairs behind it jolted and swayed. Snow dropped from cables in soft avalanches. The man didn't move. I stepped outside despite every instinct screaming at me not to. The cold bit instantly, slicing through layers. My boots crunched on packed snow as I approached the stopped chair. You can't come down, I said, louder than I needed to. My voice sounded thin in the open air. The man turned his head slowly. His eyes met mine. There was recognition there, relief. Thank you, he said. His voice was wrong, too close, like he was standing beside me, not hanging above the ground. I was getting tired, he continued. It's a long way to ride up alone. My heart hammered so hard I thought I might pass out. How did you get on the lift? He smiled faintly. I always do. I took a step back. Snow crunched loud in the silence. What happened to you? I asked. His smile faded. "I wrote it down," he said. "Once." Wind picked up suddenly, whipping loose snow into spirals around us. The lights flickered. Somewhere up the mountain, metal banged against metal, a deep, hollow sound. "I didn't know the rule," he added. Behind me, the radio crackled to life on my belt. "Lift ops," Patrol said quietly. "Do not let him off." The man looked past me toward the dark trees lining the slope. His hands tightened around the safety bar. "They don't like it when you stop," he said. "They say it hurts." "Hurt who?" I asked. The cable above us groaned, tension building, like something pulling from the summit. "Him," the man whispered. The chair jerked once, then again. I stumbled, catching myself on the railing. The brake screamed in protest, metal shrieking against metal. The man's eyes widened, not in fear, but in warning. "He's waking up," he said. The lights at the top station flickered out. The mountain went dark, and somewhere above us, something heavy shifted its weight onto the line. The first thing I felt was the cable pulling back, not swaying, not shaking, pulling, like something at the summit had wrapped both hands around the line and leaned its weight into it, testing how much resistance it would get. The brake screamed louder, a tortured metal howl that echoed across the empty slope. I backed away from the chair, heart pounding so hard it blurred my vision. The man on chair 47 tightened his grip on the safety bar. Frost cracked along the metal under his fingers. "He doesn't like being interrupted," he said, voice calm, almost conversational. "He prefers the routine." "What routine?" I shouted. The cable lurched again, harder this time. The chair dipped an inch, then steadied. The radio burst to life. "Lift ops," Patrol said. "Listen to me. Whatever you do, don't look uphill." I looked uphill. The top station lights were out, but the moon gave enough glow to see the outline of the towers climbing the ridge. Snow streamed sideways in the wind. And there, where the cable vanished into darkness, the air looked wrong, thicker, bent, as if the night itself was sagging under a weight it couldn't support. Something moved, not fast, not slow, deliberate. The cable creaked, a deep, strained sound that vibrated through my boots and into my bones. Chair 46, just uphill from the man, began to rock gently, though no wind touched it. "Stop," Patrol barked through the radio. "You're not supposed to see that." I tore my eyes away, bile rising in my throat. "What is it?" I asked. "What's up there?" Static answered me at first. Then Patrol spoke again, voice lower now. "Pinehurst wasn't always a ski resort," they said. "Before the lifts, before the lodges, this mountain ran ore." I glanced back at the man. He nodded. "They dug into him," he said softly. "Straight through, never asked permission." Another violent tug shook the line. Snow cascaded from the towers like falling ash. I stumbled back into the shack and slammed the door, locking it even though I knew how useless that was. The monitors flickered wildly. Camera feeds warped, stretching the image of the upper line until it looked impossibly long. On screen 3, something passed beneath the cable. Not a person, too tall, too narrow. Its outline flickered like it wasn't fully in the same place twice. "What happens if he gets to the bottom?" I asked, my voice barely steady. Patrol didn't answer right away. When they did, it was almost a whisper. "He rides someone back up." The chair outside jerked again. I ran back out despite the cold, despite the fear clawing up my spine. The man was staring straight up the line now, eyes wide. "He's closer than last time," he said. "That's new." "Last time?" I asked. He swallowed. "They don't usually let me talk this long." The cable groaned, a low, animal sound. "Why you?" I demanded. "Why does this keep happening?" The man's gaze snapped back to me. "Because someone has to learn the rule," he said, "and someone has to forget it." The lift shuddered violently. The brake sparked, the smell of burning metal slicing through the cold air. Up the line, one of the chairs began moving, against the stopped cable, sliding slowly downhill. "Empty," Patrol shouted through the radio. "That's not possible. The line is locked." The empty chair passed under a light, then another, gliding silently toward us. The man on chair 47 started to panic. "He's cheating," he said. "He's not supposed to do that." I grabbed the control lever, fingers numb. What happens when the chair reaches the bottom? The man's voice dropped to a whisper. That's how he gets off. The empty chair rolled into the unloading zone and came to a perfect stop. The safety bar lifted by itself. Snow compressed beneath unseen weight. Footsteps appeared in the powder one by one, moving toward the shack. Heavy, slow, intentional. The man on chair 47 began to sob. "I don't want to go back up," he said. "Please. Don't let him send me back." The footsteps reached the base of the tower. Something massive exhaled. The radio crackled one last time. "Lift ops," Patrol said. "If he offers to trade, don't answer." A shadow rose at the edge of the light, not fully visible, just enough to know it was there, waiting, and the cable above us began to move. The cable moving was the worst part, not the shadow, not the footprints in the snow that stopped inches from the shack door, not even the man crying above me, knuckles white around the safety bar. It was the sound. A deep, grinding pull like the mountain clearing its throat. I slammed the brake again out of pure instinct. Sparks flew, brief and violent, lighting up the underside of the chair. The cable slowed, but it didn't stop this time. Whatever was pulling from uphill was stronger than the system was ever designed to handle. The shadow shifted closer. I could feel it now, not with my eyes but in my chest, a pressure like standing too close to a massive engine. The air grew dense, heavy with the smell of wet stone and old iron. The man on chair 47 looked down at me, tears freezing on his cheeks. "He's going to ask you," he said. "That's how it always goes." "Ask me what?" I shouted. The shadow leaned forward into the edge of the light. Still no face. Just a suggestion of height and weight, like a silhouette carved out of darkness itself. Snow hissed and steamed where it touched the shape. A voice rolled out of it, not loud, not quiet. Balanced. "You've stopped my line," it said. The words vibrated through the ground more than the air. My teeth chattered, and I couldn't tell how much of that was cold. "I did my job," I said, though my voice trembled. "You're not supposed to be here." A pause, then something like amusement rippled through the shadow. "I was here first." The cable lurched again. Chair 47 dipped, the man crying out as the safety bar rattled. "Please," he begged. "Please, I already rode it once." The shadow's attention shifted to him. "I felt it the way you feel a pressure change before a storm. You broke the rule," it said. "You reached the bottom alone." "I didn't know," the man sobbed. "I didn't know." Another pause. Then the shadow turned back to me. "You do," it said. The words settled heavy and final. I swallowed. "What do you want?" The mountain seemed to lean closer. "Balance," it replied. "Every descent requires an ascent." My stomach dropped. "You want him back?" "Yes." "And if I don't?" The cable creaked, tension screaming through the towers. Snow poured from the line in heavy sheets. Somewhere uphill, metal snapped. "Then I take someone else," the shadow said calmly. "Someone who already knows the controls." The meaning hit me all at once. Me. The man on chair 47 saw it in my face and started screaming, a raw, broken sound that echoed off the slope. "No," he cried. "Don't do it. You don't understand what it's like up there." I looked at the cable, at the strain etched into every bolt and joint. If it snapped, the chair would drop. He wouldn't feel much, just a sudden stop. If I released the brake, the chair would rise, slowly, all the way back into the dark. "Tell me," I said to the man, my voice hoarse. "What's at the top?" He shook his head violently. "You can't describe it. It's not a place, it's a—" he gasped, fighting for breath. "It's like being remembered by something that hates you." The shadow shifted again, impatient now. "You decide," it said. "The line is not meant to stop." My hand hovered over the brake lever. Every rule, every safety protocol, every instinct screamed at me not to let go. But another rule echoed louder. "If someone gets on alone at the top, don't let them ride down." The man wasn't riding down anymore. He was hanging. I looked up at him. "I'm sorry," I said, though I wasn't sure who I meant it for. I eased the brake. The cable surged. Chair 47 rose with a sudden jolt, lifting the man higher into the night. His screams faded quickly, swallowed by wind and distance. The shadow stepped back as the chair passed, satisfied. The line smoothed out. The machinery settled into its familiar rhythm. The mountain exhaled. The shadow dissolved into darkness, footprints filling in behind it as if they'd never been there. The lift ran, empty chairs gliding past like nothing had happened. I stood there shaking, hands numb, heart hollow. The radio crackled. "Lift ops," Patrol said softly. "Is the line moving?" "Yes," I whispered. Another pause. "You did the right thing," Patrol said, but their voice didn't sound convinced. I stared up the mountain, watching Chair 47 disappear into blackness. "How many times?" I asked. "How many times has this happened?" Patrol answered after a long silence. "Enough that the rule exists." The clock in the shack ticked over to 12:30 a.m. My shift wasn't even halfway done. And somewhere near the summit, something waited for the next mistake. I didn't shut the lift down after that. I told myself I should have. Any sane operator would have pulled the emergency stop, called it in, and walked away from the shack without looking back. But the line was running smooth. The gauges were steady. No alarms. No faults. On paper, everything was normal. That's how Pinehurst survives, by pretending normal is enough. The wind picked up after 1 a.m., rattling the shack windows. Snow started falling again, thick and wet, clinging to the floodlights and turning the world into a tunnel of white noise. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Past the last tower, the mountain simply vanished. I kept seeing Chair 47. Every empty chair that rolled past looked wrong, like it was missing something it had carried for too long. I found myself counting them, waiting for that number to come around again. When it did, I froze. The chair was empty. I don't mean no rider. I mean the safety bar was down. That never happens. Riders lift the bar at unload, gravity and habit doing the rest. Patrol checks for it during sweep. An empty chair with the bar lowered means someone put it down deliberately. Or something did. My radio crackled again. "You seeing this weather?" Patrol asked. "Yeah," I said. "Visibility's trash." "Copy, we're pulling off the upper sweep. Too risky." My mouth went dry. "What about the top station?" A pause, static hissed. "We already cleared it," Patrol said. "No one up there." I stared at the chair drifting past, bar still down, swinging slightly as if disturbed by an unseen weight. "Are you sure?" I asked. "We had eyes on every platform," Patrol replied. "Top's empty." Another chair came through, bar down, then another. My heart started to race. "Patrol," I said slowly, "how many chairs do you see with bars down?" Silence. Then quieter, "What do you mean?" I turned in place, tracking the line. 3 chairs in a row, all empty, all bars lowered, moving downhill from the summit like a procession. "They're coming from the top," I said. "Someone's riding them." "That's not possible," Patrol replied. We cleared. A sharp metallic clank cut through the radio. Then breathing, not mine, heavy, labored, too close to the mic. "Patrol," I said. The breathing stopped. A new voice came through, low and distorted, like the signal was being pulled through wet earth. "You let one go back," it said. The words hit me harder than the cold. "I told you what happens," the voice continued. "Balance shifts." I grabbed the radio with both hands. "Where's Patrol?" A pause. "Riding," the voice said. My stomach turned. The chairs kept coming, empty, bars down. Each one swayed a little more than the last, like something invisible was adjusting its weight as it passed the towers. I looked at the emergency stop again. If I hit it now, the line would freeze. Whatever was on those chairs would be stranded halfway between top and bottom. And I remembered what the man had said. "It's not a place. It's being remembered." "Lift ops," the radio crackled weakly, Patrol's voice faint now, stretched thin. "Do not stop the line." "Why?" I whispered. "Because it doesn't like being interrupted." The wind howled outside, and for the first time all night I heard footsteps again. Not outside the shack. Inside, slow, deliberate, heavy enough to make the floor vibrate. The door handle turned. I didn't move. I couldn't. The footsteps stopped just behind me. "You understand now," the voice said, not through the radio but right at my ear. "The mountain takes turns." A chair passed the window, bar down, empty seat gleaming under the floodlight. The counter ticked up by 1. I realized then that Chair 47 wasn't gone. It was just waiting its turn to come back down. I didn't turn around. Every instinct I had screamed at me to face whatever was standing behind me, to put eyes on it and make it real. But some part of me, older and quieter, knew that looking would seal something I couldn't undo. The footsteps moved closer. I could feel the air shift, colder than the room should allow, like a door had been opened somewhere deep inside the mountain and never closed again. The smell hit next. Wet wool, old metal, and something faintly sweet beneath it, the way snow smells when it's been sitting too long. "You keep good time," the voice said softly. "That's why they leave you here alone." I swallowed. My throat felt raw, like I'd been breathing ice dust for hours. "I don't choose the schedule," I said. "I just run the lift." A sound like a slow exhale. Almost a laugh. "No," it replied, "you keep it." Chair after chair slid past the window, the bars still lowered. The counter climbed steadily, each click louder than the last. 44, 45, 46. I reached for the emergency stop again without thinking. The hand that landed on my wrist was heavy, too heavy, cold in a way that went beyond temperature, straight into the bone. "Don't," the voice said, firmer now. "You'll make it curious." I froze. My fingers went numb where it touched me. "What do you want?" I asked. The hand loosened, not quite letting go. "What everyone wants," it said. "To go down." The counter ticked. 47. The chair drifted into view. This time it wasn't empty. Someone sat in it. A single figure hunched forward, hands gripping the safety bar so tightly their knuckles looked white even through the blowing snow. Their head was bowed, hood pulled low, face hidden in shadow. My chest tightened. "Who is that?" I whispered. The hand released my wrist. "Someone who forgot," the voice said. "Someone who thought the rules were stories." The chair swayed as it passed the tower. The rider didn't move, didn't look toward the shack, didn't acknowledge me at all. "Patrol," I said into the radio, my voice barely working. "If you can hear me, respond." Static. Then a faint, broken transmission. "Top still waiting." The signal cut out. I watched Chair 47 disappear downhill, swallowed by fog and falling snow. The room felt suddenly emptier. Whatever had been behind me stepped away, its presence thinning like smoke. "You'll keep it moving," the voice said from farther back now. "That's your job." The door creaked. Cold air rushed in. Then it was gone. I stood there shaking, staring at the window until my eyes burned. The line ran on, smooth and steady as if nothing had happened. No alarms, no faults. Just steel cable, pulleys, and the steady rhythm of a system doing exactly what it was designed to do. I checked the logbook. No mention of Chair 47. No incident reports. No patrol notes. According to the mountain, nothing had happened at all. I didn't trust that. I rewound the security footage. The camera feed near Tower 9 flickered as Chair 47 passed through. For half a second the image sharpened. The rider's hood slipped back. I leaned closer to the screen. The face was gray, not pale, gray like skin that had forgotten what warmth was. Eyes open too wide, unblinking. Mouth slightly open, teeth chattering without sound. And I knew him. I'd seen him on the employee board in the break room. A faded photo pinned crookedly in the corner. Seasonal operator. Winter of 2006. Cause of incident, exposure following lift malfunction. They never recovered the body. The footage skipped forward. Chair 47 was empty again. I shut the monitor off. By 3 a.m., the storm had grown violent. Wind slammed into the shack hard enough to rattle the walls. Snow buried the lower towers up to their warning lights. The mountain felt sealed off from the rest of the world, like we'd slipped out of time entirely. The radio crackled one last time. "Lift ops," Patrol said weakly. "If you're still there, don't count them." "What do you mean?" I asked. But the line went dead. I looked at the counter. It had stopped. Not broken, not frozen, just paused. 49. The chairs kept moving, but the number didn't change. My pulse thundered in my ears. Slowly, deliberately, I counted the chairs passing the window. 1, 2, 3. None of them registered. Then I saw it. At the far end of the line, where the fog thickened near the summit, a chair was coming down that wasn't on the schedule. Older model, rusted frame, no number plate, no safety bar. Something sat in it anyway. Tall, upright, facing forward, waiting. The counter clicked. 50. The lights in the shack flickered, and I understood what the voice had meant. The mountain wasn't keeping track of people, it was keeping balance. And it was almost my turn to ride.